Yay! I figured it out.
Awesome.
Don't know where it's going to save it to, but I'll figure that out later. So, even though I'm recording, I just wanted to let you know that, whatever you say here is just between us. It stays just between us. It's just that my coaching mentor is going to watch this, um, just to make sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing and give me some feedback. So, since
Perfect.
I'm so new to this. So, but just like in your EQIT classes, everything you say here is safe. It's a safe environment that, we're here to help you through if you've got any troubles or anything that you need to get off your chest because this job's hard sometimes.
Yeah.
It's still safe here, even though I'm recording it. So it doesn't go anywhere else. So how have you been? I want an update. We haven't chatted for a while.
I know it. Really good. We got licensed for 7 infants now. So we were 5, so now 2
Okay.
more, 7. I'm like, I'm so excited. And I'm hoping everyone else is too. They're like, you are so weird. I'm like, I want so many babies here.
That's right. Because babies turn to toddlers and turn to preschoolers. So
Yes. I just want lots, lots and lots. And I want it to be so hectic. Like I want that. I'm so excited for us. So that's kind of what took a lot of my brain
mhm.
power the last couple weeks
Yeah.
because we were waiting for Miss Corinne to come in to do licensing. Um, we are officially opening downstairs, so I get to move downstairs now with our 2 older boys, which I'm really excited about. Um, what else? What else? I have 3 more weeks and I'm done with this next class. That's exciting. I was
Yay.
doing final, so that also took a lot of brain power away, unfortunately.
And what class are you taking right now?
Um, I don't know why I can never remember what this one is. It's 2381 at Ames. It's like domains
Okay.
and everything. Which is so funny. It's something I do on a monthly basis. I'm doing it daily,
Mhm.
and I just don't know why my brain is just not in it. It's easy. I think I just made it way harder than it needed to be, which is
Yeah.
my per my usual. So, but other than that, I think that's probably it.
Do you think that it's just added onto it because of the formality of it?
Possibly. I think so. I mean it's things that I do for like my calendar
Mhm.
and everything monthly. We do it daily, trying to hit all their milestones and
Right.
domains and stuff. Like I just, but I'm also, I'm an overthinker.
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, so this is what this means. And then here's this. It's like, I want to, it's like in a way, I want to educate people as much as I'm educated
Mhm.
on it. It's just, I don't know. I just make it so much harder than it really needs to be
Yeah, yeah,
personally.
definitely. Because like you said, you're doing it in your work every day. You're just having to put it down on paper for somebody else to look at.
I think so. I think you're right.
And maybe sometimes like knowing and doing sometimes is, that uses a different part of our brain than having to break it into categories and name it. Like
Yeah.
like you said, and you do, but having to name that might be a little more difficult to be like, oh no, where does this go? Even though you're doing
Yeah.
it anyway. You're doing it anyway. So
Exactly.
so yeah, so I can see that. I can definitely see that. So so you said you're getting to move downstairs. So what's your timeline for that now?
Next week.
Next week?
This week I should say. Yeah. We're going to start Tuesdays and Thursdays because those are our
Mhm.
busy days. So we're
Right,
going to
that's what we talked
start with
about.
the 2 older boys, getting them down here, and it's now I have to like get my brain back into 2.5-year-olds. It's like I've had to bring it down a bit for the ones and the 1 to 2s. Now it's like, okay, now I have to build, I how do I explain it? Like the responsibility back,
Mhm.
now that we have the older boys, it's like, okay, now I have to challenge them and get them back on board and everything. Cause being up there, unfortunately, has not been beneficial. It's been beneficial for the younger ones because they see how the older boys act. But
Mhm.
now it's like now putting those older boys into that that position of responsibility, I guess, if that makes sense, and
Yeah, yeah.
challenging them the way they should be challenged now. And so I'm like, I got to get my brain back into 2.5 to 3 year olds.
Right, right. So maybe just kind of being able to focus more on that specific age group instead of the range. Do you think that that's what you're I kind of feel
Yeah,
like you might have been looking forward to that too, though.
I have that. It's I out of all of it, I think that's my sweet spot. I just really the 2.5 to 3.5, like that's just my niche. I like that age range. It works well for me. We mesh well. The other ones, I'm like, I just want to cuddle you guys.
And that's
I
what they
just
need,
want to love
right?
on you.
Yeah, yeah. And a lot of times that's what they need,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
little ones. But the big ones need that too sometimes, but it's fun to
Yeah.
watch them find their independence. So how are you feeling about kind of switching up your days and what are you wondering about as far as going into this next week? What might be some of the positive things or some of the challenges that you see that you might face as you take the boys and kind of split their schedule?
I'm really excited. I am. I feel now there's like that little bit of pressure inside. It's like, okay, now I need to start showing out for the parents. Now, it's like we've kind of been telling them it's a thing, it's happening, it's happening, it's happening. And then now it's here. And it's like, okay, so now it's time to shine. It's time to put that hat on and it's time to start getting into a routine and groove. It's like re-routining the
Mhm.
boys and getting into that. And then trying to find, what works, what doesn't. It's kind of like starting over, I guess,
Yeah.
even though they've been here
Mhm.
forever. And then now that we're in our room, I haven't really had much time to prepare our room, I guess, to what I would like. But I feel like that's always, I mean, it's always changing anyways.
Mhm.
So is that like, do I really need to put that much energy into that brain power side? It's like, doesn't
Right.
matter. Like, we'll get there.
Yeah.
And I guess just now trying to figure like what's our flow. I've been stuck with this one for a while now. Okay, so how are we going to make this work for these older boys? And so it's like trying to get into it now.
Yeah. Do you have any have you thought much about how they might transition between like being upstairs on Monday, Wednesday, Friday and downstairs on Tuesday, Thursday? Have you thought about how that might look or some challenges or of course it's always easy to think about the advantages. We've talked about the advantages of it and you're so excited about it, but do you think that you're going to have any challenges through
Yeah,
that we might need to work on or think about?
I mean, knowing the ones that are coming down, um, Hayden, he's been 2.5. He's closer to 3 now. And so
Mhm.
I feel like, and he's just happy to be here. He's just got that sweet puppy to him where he's just like, I'm just happy to be wherever I belong.
Yeah.
And so it's Jameson's the one I feel like I'll get a little resistance from. He's, I guess closer to 2.5 than he is to 3, but he, he's definitely one he doesn't like change.
Mhm.
One good thing though is when it was snowing, was that last week, the week before?
Mhm.
We came down and rather than going outside and built like an obstacle course for him downstairs. And then we had Jameson and Colton. Colton's going to be 2.5 in December. So he will be coming down here soon. But it was those two and then Rev, little wild Rev. And
Right.
they came down, they were doing like obstacle course. So it's kind of like they got to explore, like pre-explore it
Mhm.
and everything. But that was nice too, because then we got to see what works, what doesn't work. What do they like? What do they not like? What do we need to anchor into the wall because they're pulling on it? And what,
Right.
it's like we've had no one down here to play. So it was like, okay, kind of get like a little insider on, I guess, the room beforehand. And so, and then I just get so in my head about it. And it's like they care, there's toys, there's fun stuff down here. That's all they care about.
Mhm.
Everything else that I need to add is really fluff. So I'm like, Ashley,
Yeah.
calm down.
And
Stop it.
everything else that you need to add is
Yeah.
your relationship with them and and letting them explore and figure out what works and what doesn't, right? So you've like you said, you kind of tried that already by using it as a kind of a gross motor time downstairs when you couldn't get outside because of the weather. So, and like you said, the biggest thing I heard you say was that it's a work in progress and
Yeah.
you can change it, right? If it's not working, you can change it.
Yeah.
And letting them tell you what they need from the environment, right? And that's just that part of that responsive relationship that you have already started building with them. So, I think it's going to be successful, and I think that you definitely have the because the two boys, Hayden and Jameson, were the two that were there when I was there, right?
I think Rev, Jameson and Rev. I think those were
There
the
were
two. Because
three,
Rev was
so
the
I
one
knew Rev's the
crying,
little one.
and then Jameson, maybe it was because it was a Thursday,
Is a
or was it
Friday.
a Friday? So it was Colton, Jameson,
Colton
and
and Jameson. Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
Rev.
And I was pretty sure Jameson had been there, but I didn't remember the other one's name. So just like they just need you, and they just need to be able to tell you what they need and you be responsive to it. And you've already got that good relationship with them. Like, I think that's one thing that I liked the most being able to observe you that day was, Rev needed a lot from you because he was like, I don't know about this. I don't like how this feels right now. But the boys, like, just the way that they would look at you and always kind of checking in with you, like, yeah, our person's here and we're safe and I can play and I can do what I need to do and Ashley's going to be here. So I think that as long as you just continue what you're doing with them and make sure that you're being that caregiver, that responsive caregiver and letting them, let them know what they need changed, right? So for instance, like Jameson, if he's the one that you had talked about, like changing his schedule for outside time might mess up lunch. Is he the one that kind of struggles with that?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I think that you already have thought about that with him, right? And
Hmm.
and so I think by doing some pre-planning with that, which I think you just instinctively do, like just watching you and talking to you, I think that's just instinct to you. I think just making sure and making it special when you're upstairs and extra special when you're downstairs. And then, oh, we get to go up with our friends again on Wednesday and then Thursday we'll get to go down and play again. Um, and kind of like your amazing calendar on the wall that you have that has who's here when, you know, like letting them know that, oh, on these days the big boys get to go downstairs. So they know what to expect. So,
Hmm.
and you're doing so many wonderful things with that. I think that that's just going to become second nature for you. So,
Oh,
so
thank
I'm
you.
glad to hear that that's kindly finally coming because I know you've been super excited about that. And that's something as we go, we can I know you had kind of mentioned doing some environment type coaching on what as you transition downstairs and you create that new environment. I know we kind of talked about touching on some coaching specifically on environment too, so we can look at that too.
Hmm.
So is there anything else you have that's just weighing on you right now before we dive in and I tell you all the amazing things I saw while I was there?
uh, I don't think so.
Yeah,
No.
Halloween. Got through Halloween and now just waiting to get through the holidays.
Yes.
The kids
That one hit me today. I was like, oh my gosh, Thanksgiving is in 2 weeks. We're doing a family fest on Friday.
Mhm.
And so they were like, all right, Ashley, so you need to like find a venue. You need to, I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh
Okay.
man.
Okay. I'm like, yeah, look, we can do this. And so I found something like here local. I was like, okay, good. Okay. Now what can I do? Like, ugh. But at the same time, I love it. I love the stress. I don't know why. Like, I thrive on it. And
Yeah.
I hate that I'm like that, but I just like it. I don't know. I don't know.
I wonder what it is about it that I wonder, maybe it's the adrenaline.
Maybe so.
Maybe it's like, okay, you get into that. you get the different parts of your brain going and you're like, oh, I'm the same way. So I totally get it. Totally get it. So Family Fest, are you doing that with the bigger center too, or just you guys?
We were going to, but Vicky over there, oh man, they're having such a hard time. I
Oh,
really do feel so bad. They had like another family leave their center. And this year's very low. It's just very low numbers. And here we're like, we don't have enough staff. We
mhm.
have more kids, and it's like, I just feel so bad that they're having such a hard time. And then they have like new teachers. So I don't know if Vicky's my aunt.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I don't know if I told you that.
Yeah.
And so her dad, my grandpa, he just died. And so she's been really in there, and she's like, you need to take time off. And I'm like, no, I like being with the kids. That's a good enough distraction for me. Like,
Mhm.
I don't want to sit at home. I want to be right here. This is where I want to be. And she's like, I don't want to be here. So it's just been so, you can just feel it. It's in the air,
Mhm.
and it's a lot. And she's like, well, we're not going to do the family fest. And that was initially why I was finding the venue, is because she wanted us to do it together. And I was like, okay, so do I not? Like, I booked somewhere, and Casey's like, no, we're going to do it. So
Mhm.
we're doing it for just our family. But I do kind of wish they would, because, I just feel like the togetherness would feel
Yeah.
better. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. But everybody, this is a great example of everybody kind of handles things differently where, you do
Yeah.
these things. Vicky's like, I need time off. I think you need to have time off too. And you're like, no, I need time with my littles because that's what's going to fill my heart and
Yeah.
make me get through this. So yeah, that is hard,
Yeah.
hard. And then I've heard that about enrollment right now for the 3 to 5 year olds, because now we're getting to, these are the kiddos that we stopped having births because of COVID, and everybody was afraid of getting pregnant and having to birth a baby and by themselves because they couldn't be there because of COVID. So this year we're seeing that big gap, and I think we're going to see it this year and next year. And then hopefully we kind of see the recovery from that, because like you said, we've got booming littles right now. And so those will kind of work up through the ranks.
Yeah.
So well, I'm sorry that you lost your grandfather,
No.
because that
Thank you.
that that's hard. It's really hard. And
Yeah.
especially when you come to holidays and things like that. So I'm glad to hear that you're doing what you need to do for that. But I'm also here too to, like, if you're having a hard day, you've got my cell phone number. Send me a text. I'll text you back. Like,
Thank you.
that's what this space is for too. Like, it's not just work. It's, I'm here for you specifically. And sometimes that's just to listen.
Thank
So
you
I
so
can do
much.
that anytime. So,
I appreciate it.
but you've got my phone number too. So if I don't answer an email, you've got access to. So well, I'm glad to hear that you've kind of navigated that, and there's still some time this week. Maybe things might change if you've got big enough venue for everybody, and but yeah, I can see, and it's hard when things are heavy.
Yeah.
Like you said, even when enrollment's down and things like that, you just kind of feel it. So
Yeah.
but I'm glad that you guys are doing good, and hopefully you guys can be that encouragement for the bigger center to kind of get through. And like I said, these babies will be there soon. So so will
Mhm.
you'll get back to it. So well, let's kind of you got the um relate coaching form I sent over that Friday. Did you
Yeah.
have any questions about that? Um, do you still have it? If not, I can share my screen.
I feel like I do, but it might be quicker for you to
I
for
can
me to
share my
have.
screen. I can definitely share my screen. So, and we won't touch on it real big because you've had a chance to read through it, but I did for sure just want to. There we go. maybe, there we go. I scrunched you up and now I was having trouble finding it. Okay. So let me get you back where I can see you. We won't go over this too heavy. Let me see. I know what to do here. Oh, wrong screen. I had a feeling that happened. You didn't need to see my email. There we go. Ah, yay, now my box is green. I was like, why is that not green? Okay. So we won't like go into too depth in here. I just wanted you to see this. Number one, like, so if I do any more, when I do more observations, my goal is to like get this to you like before I leave, and maybe even be able to depending on staffing, have a conversation about it before I leave instead of having to wait just in case something happens. So we're not waiting this long for you to get all of this wonderful feedback, which I know we kind of chatted afterwards before, and I made sure you got this form that afternoon. But so this is what the coaching form looks like. So when I come into coach, it has each of those bolded sentences are the relate items for that module. So since you weren't really sure about a specific module, I just did module 2 because the biggest thing is relationships, and carry the spirit goes over your those relationships with the kids, and it worked out great because I was able to see you navigate that with Rev while I was there, and have that amazing responsive relationship with him. So if you had your responsive care journal handbook, this is that page
Okay.
at the end of the modules and then you have the relate sections, or the respect, reflect, relate on the other side. So that's what these are. So this would be the ones for module 2. So the bold is the relate item, and then the bullet points are some of the examples of what a responsive relationship would be with that relate item. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I just wanted to make sure you understood like what the form was and what was on it. And so sometimes I might use this side, or sometimes I might use the other side, which is just for some notes. But it also has those 3 relate items there at the top on the back side.
Perfect.
So it's just for you so that you see the amazing things that I see, because when you're in it, you don't see it, right?
Yes.
So I'm glad that you had some time to read over that. And so I just wanted you to see the form and for me to kind of like explain that to you so you understand what you were looking at, besides just my notes. So that day that I was there, I want to know how that I know it's been a while, but how did that day feel for you? Like, what was something that you did that day that you felt successful at while I was there that morning observing?
Honestly, when Rev calmed down, there's some days there's no, until that person is physically out of his sight, there is no calming, and he clings really hard. And so it felt really good to see that he did open up to you, because that is a hard one. We have Jenny is a new aide for us, and granted, she's been here for probably almost a month now.
Okay.
But there's some days where he just won't have it with her, and it's like, Rev, you know her, you see her every single day for like time. It's so strange that he just chooses not to. And then there's days like when me and the other Ashley are here and everything, like it is a funny dynamic because he knows that I will love on him when he needs it, but at the same time, I tell him like, Rev, I'm not going to pick you up, but I will sit with you. I will hold your hand. I will, I'll sit by you. You can sit in my lap. I guess I technically am holding him, but on the floor. but
Right.
I'm not picking him up. He's just so heavy. And
Mhm.
so I'm like, my hips just don't have it for you, buddy. I'm sorry. He's not one to grab onto you. He just dead weights and lets you hold him. I'm like, you are killing my arms. And so, and he's going to be 2 in February. I'm like, I'm not going to just pick you up just for fun anymore. I mean, we'll do when you need it, not when you just want it. And so, um, and Ashley, she's like, she'll pick him up, put him on her hip, and she's set. And I'm like, but she's so much younger than me, girl. You got it. Go for it. If that's what works for you too, that works. So it's just funny that he knows. He'll try. He'll come over and be like, "No, okay, I'm going to Ashley will pick me up." So it is just a funny dynamic. But when he actually just and started opening up to you, I was like, oh, "That's an awesome feeling."
Mhm.
It just shows growth on his end from where we started to where we are now. That he's still in that stranger danger, but then he's
Mhm.
like, okay, Ashley says she's okay, so I'm okay with her being okay. That was a feel good moment for me, I think.
Yeah.
And
And
so,
what do you think that you have done to be able to, for him to feel like he could open up? What part, what part of that do you think, or what do you think you have contributed to or helped him with so that he could venture out and open up to a new person?
I feel like trust. I mean, he has an immense sense of trust in me,
Mhm.
He um I mean, because the boys, they talk to you, but they were in their own world.
Mhm.
If they were more active with you, I think it would have been so much quicker for him because he sees the boy, like he wants to be with those are his big boys. So he wants
Yeah.
to be part of the big boy group so bad. And if they were more, I think it would have been so much quicker. But I think, seeing that I was talking to you, we were having a conversation, and he could feel that it wasn't like I don't know. I would say trust. I think he
Yeah.
felt, like, okay, if Ashley feels she's cool, then I guess she's cool too. you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I noticed too was you continued to reassure him and like I put on the form, like you let him know that okay, I can't hold you now, but you can sit next to me or you can sit with me, but I'm not going to pick you up and hold you. Like I'm here if you need me, but you're a big guy now and you can keep your feet on the floor. And so just watching you continue to try to give him that independence while still being there and reassuring him and thinking like, oh, let's get a preferred activity out. He loves to tear paper, and so let's get that out and sit it down. And you gave him time to come to it. Like it wasn't like, oh well, you don't want it, we're going to put it up. Like you continued to offer something to him, and he knew that you were there and that you were going to keep him safe. Like I was able to see that trust and that love and that strong relationship that you have with him. And and if you didn't have that strong relationship with him, then he would have not been able to calm down. It would be like, no, I'm right here, I don't need to hold you. And then he would have like had a complete meltdown, like, oh, I was told no. But
Yeah.
because he trusts you and you've built that strong relationship with him, he was able to be like, okay, she's still here, I don't have to be on her, I can do this. And I think the thing that I loved the most while I was there was and where I could see it the most, and this kind of might sound weird, but was whenever you went over and helped him wash his hands. Like I think that was the time that I just smiled the most because I could see your relationship the most in that, and got to see him be independent. And he was like, oh, I'm a big guy, I can do this. And you were there to help show and guide, but he was able to be completely independent with it. And so like, and just the way that he looked up to you, and he was just like, oh yeah, Ashley's got me. And that was like right after I got there and you were washing hands because he was all like, ah, somebody news here and now my nose is running. my world's falling apart because I don't know this strange person. So like, and that's the thing is that you were able to navigate that while still giving the bigger boys what they needed, still interacting with them in ways that they need, and just really bridging that large age group that you've, I wouldn't say been struggling with, but been not too sure how to navigate that large age group. And you did it. Like I got to watch you do that beautifully.
Oh,
And
thank
and
you.
even though I know you've said that that's kind of your hardest thing is meeting both of their needs because the youngers need so much more and the olders are more independent. So but I think you did a beautiful job with that. Um
Thank you.
what is there anything like within that you um that didn't feel quite as good for you or anything that during that might have been a little bit harder?
Um, I mean, nothing comes to I mean, that's a pretty typical day. So, I mean, with just the three of them, I try to let the older boys have more independence and try not to interject as much. Let them start to build with each other, I guess, that relationship, and then interject when needed, and so like they kept running back and forth. Jameson knows full well we do not run in that classroom. And
Mhm.
so he kept trying, but and so which is funny because he sees a new person, he's like, all right, I'm gonna cross that line, see
Yep.
what you're gonna say. And so it was funny to see him try to cross it. And then after a couple reminders, he's like, okay, I guess Ash is not gonna let me run up here,
Yeah.
So, it's like letting them just kind of do their own thing and everything. Because he's starting to bring Colton kind of up to his level
Mhm.
and everything, where he's starting to do more imagination play and he's starting to do more like that. And it's awesome because I want Colton to because he's younger, but his mom's a teacher. I feel like teacher kids, either they can be super rotten, but we still love them,
Mhm.
or they are just a little more mature,
Mhm.
and he's just a little more mature, and they do really well. So it's like I wanted them to have that where I could focus on Rev, but then with Rev not put so much energy into that, let him kind of just calm down. I want him to try to calm on his own and not feel like it's like I'm not explaining it right, like I'm over coddling him. That doesn't sound right, but not
No,
like
yeah.
give him what he needs in that moment, but not put tons of emphasis on it to where does that make sense? I
No,
don't
it
feel like I'm
absolutely
making
makes
sense
sense.
at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Like I'm here if you need me,
Yeah.
but you're safe here next to me,
Yeah.
right? And I definitely saw that. Like and you didn't like when he got upset because somebody new was there, you didn't immediately say, "Oh, nope, I'm not going to help you. You need to go over here," right? You started out and you did hold him and you kept him safe. And then you gradually worked him back into an independence. And that's I think what I saw that I loved was because you didn't just be like, "Oh, nope, you're a big boy here. I'm here,
Yeah.
but you don't need to sit." You gave him what he needed at first, and then you helped him with that co-regulation, right? Because because our babies 0 to 3 don't they can't self-regulate,
Yeah.
right? They don't have those tools yet. They co-regulate. And so that's what I saw you doing with Rev was you were helping him regulate, right? And you gave him the most at first, and then you worked with him to get him closer to a self-regulation, which he's not going to be there yet until
Yeah.
that, till they get closer to the 3 to 5, even some 5-year-olds still need co-regulation. But in the first 3 years, they absolutely need that co-regulation. They don't know how to self-regulate. And so, you can't be like, oh, get yourself together. They
Right.
don't know. They need us to help them regulate. And that's what you did with him was gave him the most at first, and then you helped him work through that, which is going to build his self-regulation later on down the road, right? Because you're
Yeah.
building that foundation with him. So absolutely. So one thing I wonder is you said something about Jameson and being like, I'm gonna push those boundaries, right? I wonder, why do you think he does that? Or what do you think he's asking for, seeking from you when he pushes those boundaries?
So one, like he's a little brother. So it's like that little brother syndrome sometimes. They just do.
Yeah.
I know he really searches for my approval. If that's, like he wants to do something, like he really thrives on the praise. He loves the praise. So, sometimes like, attention is attention. So
Yep.
maybe sometimes we'll do something and be like, is that okay? Is that not okay? No, no. Okay. All right. I won't do that again. He really does seek that from me. And then, like, when he does good things, oh my heavens, he's like, Miss Ashley, did you see me do that? It's like, yes, I
Mhm.
did. I am so proud of you. Make sure to really hit him in that moment. Like, that was fantastic. I loved that. I loved, sometimes he'll say things like at lunch, she'll be like, I ate all my food. Does that make your heart happy? Because I say, like, oh my God, you guys, this makes my heart so happy. Good job. Good. I try to throw more praise out of anything.
Absolutely.
So he is definitely he does seek that. I notice from him. So whether it's good attention, bad attention, he does want my attention. So
So one thing I thought of, like, as far as if we put it in the frame of relationships, um, do you think that maybe that was his way of, I don't want to say testing you, but of pushing that boundary to explore how safe he felt, maybe? So
I think so.
sometimes our kids will, um, they push our boundaries because they want to know that we're going to hold up our end of the deal, right? And
Mm-hmm.
by us being consistent and saying, nope, this is our rule. We're going to hold this boundary here. Even though you're pushing, I'm going to hold this boundary. That helps them feel safe, right?
Yeah.
So maybe that was his way of being like, oh, there's somebody new here. Am I still safe? Is Miss Ashley still going to hold up to her end of the deal, right?
Right.
And make sure. So do you think maybe that might be part of what he was experiencing during that?
I think so too. And Fridays are kind of like that sometimes. Now that we have so many new children, we have new younger ones that are just transferred over and everything. Mondays and Fridays are really the only days he gets more one-on-one type time.
Mm-hmm.
So I do notice when it's as funny as it is, there's like when there's more kids, he tends to be a little more responsible. When there's less kids, he can be more relaxed and
Mm-hmm.
make naughtier choices. But I feel like he does know, like it's coming from a place of love. It's not
Yeah,
like, you know, like I have to get after him, so to speak. But he
right.
knows, like, I'll try it, and no, 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 it's the same. Okay, okay,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
fine. Yeah,
And I wonder, maybe that might be his way of getting his little bucket filled. He doesn't feel like he can get his bucket as full on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday with the large group. So that might
hmm
be something that you might watch and see a big difference of him being pulled downstairs on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Is he's going
yeah,
to get more of that one-on-one time and more of that attention. So it'll be interesting to see how that
hmm
plays into how he's trying to get those important relationship moments with you, right? Right.
hmm
So yeah, I loved watching, and there's, like, that's with this EQ relate coaching, we only like observe for a short amount of time and you think, oh, what am I going to see in a short amount of time? And like we could probably sit here for 2 hours and talk about all of the things and not even touch everything that we saw just in that short like 20 minutes. But the biggest thing is look at all of those amazing things that you're doing just in that 20 minutes, right? And it's like you don't think about it when you're doing it. You just do it. And so,
Right.
so that's what I'm here for, is to help you see through somebody else's eyes all of the amazing things you're doing. And if you're doing all of those amazing things in this 20 minutes, like think of the thousands of amazing things that you're doing in an 8 hour, 9 hour day, right? Right.
Right.
So that's the big thing. So working forward, I've got a couple, just kind of from talking to you before, I kind of had an idea of where we might go next. I know we had talked about doing like a coach on the shelf where you sit me on the shelf to observe on a Thursday, or have Casey do a quick video. What But I know things are changing this week, right? So I'd love to hear what you might want from me as far as next steps, or maybe I hate, how do you feel about the word goal? Like some people like me, if you ask me to talk about goals, I'm going to be like, ah, because I have a Head Start history, and so like I don't like goals, but I like to set things that I want to work on, right? So I'd love to hear what you might want to look at or have my help with next or work through next, so we can kind of plan next steps.
Um, let's see. One goal. So, I mean, we are new. We did open this year and everything. So, um, I want to make sure I have like what I would need to do well, I guess. So,
Okay.
like like as far as what I have now in the classroom, I would love for you to just kind of like poke around and be like, maybe we can add some of this, or maybe we
Okay.
can add some of this, things that would be appropriate for this age group. Um, I mean, that'd be one goal. Like, I don't know why, but my brain is so much in the classroom. I just want to make sure I have a warm environment, an inviting
Mhm.
environment, somewhere, because we are moving to a different place. So it's like, do they see it as like a dark dungeon, or do they
Right.
see it as a warm classroom? I guess
Okay.
those are things I think about.
Hmm.
And does it have things that they would need? Do I have stuff for all girls, or do I have boy stuff? Like,
Right.
is it good? Like, that's one. Do I have too much? Should I, take some out? Is it too much where they're like, whoa, where do I
Right.
even start down here? Um, I know that's one goal.
Okay.
Um,
So do you think that that's what you'd like to work on next, or do you want to have a little time with the kids down there before we work on that? Or is it something that maybe, do you want to maybe Tuesday or Thursday of this week while you're down there, um, do a short video of the kids just playing, and I can kind of
yeah.
see them interacting in the classroom, and you can send me some pictures of how you have it set up now, because I'm sure you've done quite a bit of work since I was there. So send me some pictures of what you've got on shelves and how you have it set up.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I know you guys have the iPad, um, if you want to set it up like in the window or somewhere that I could see the classroom, and
Mm-hmm.
do like a 15-20 minute video of the boys interacting with the environment. Um, and then send that my way. That way, because I think that I'll get a much truer sense of how they're using the room and how you're interacting with them in the room, if I'm not there,
Right.
because then it's like, oh, a new friend, right? And so then for me, I don't know. You tell me. You tell
I
me.
think that's a great
Okay.
idea. I mean, that way you
Maybe,
can kind of
or
just keep it raw, let them do their
yeah,
thing.
you've also got like the sink on the far wall. I don't know
Hmm.
if maybe there's a shelf or something there that you could set the iPad on, just so I could kind of see the whole room.
Yeah.
And then we can watch it and then go over it together. Like I said, doesn't have to be very long, like 15, 20 minutes max. Um, and then yeah, we can definitely talk about that. Let me look real quick because I want to share, if that's what you want to work on next, I want to share um the coaching form with you. And I'm trying to remember which module that is. I think it is 7. Yeah. Um, so we'll look at it really super quick. Um, and then we'll wrap up so you can get on to your next thing today. Okay, so are you able to see that?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the Relate coaching form for Module 7, and I can email this over to you too, so you have it. But it goes over that Module 7, which is the power of places and spaces. So it's the environment module. And so the things that it looks at are um, experiencing a yes environment. So you remember how important a yes environment is. So then
Hmm.
this gives you some kind of ideas of what that just kind of because it's been a little while since you've had EQIT. So that's why I want to share this with you so that you've got this and it kind of reminds you, oh yeah, I remember talking about that in module 7 or in the class, right? And then each child experiences indoor and outdoor environments that promote all areas of development. So that kind of goes back to what you're working on in your class and your domains, right? So
Hmm.
do I have things that meet each of these domains so that I can help build this curriculum and build the lesson plans to meet what these boys need? And then each child experiences an environment that promotes relationships. And I've said relationships probably 50 times today, right? Because that's the basis of it. Like that's the most important thing for these children. Like and the experience with Rev, like that shows you how important that is. Like he wouldn't have been able to regulate had you not had that relationship with him. Um so yeah, so I will email this over to you so you kind of know, just get that refresher in your mind. So
Hmm.
kind of start looking through that. um, do you still have your responsive care journal handbook from
I
EQIT?
do. It's
Okay.
at home.
Okay. So you might pull that out and see if you noted anything in it. As far as I was looking to see. Um, I guess that section doesn't. The only thing in the book that section has is what kind of environment would you like? Do you remember that learning experience where you thought about, if I was in a nursing home, what would I want, right? What do I need to be comfortable? So that you can kind of think of those things as you think of your spaces with the kids and what they need. And like I said, I think they'll tell you. I really do think that as they spend more time down there, they're going to tell you what they need from the space, and you just have to be open to listening and responding to that, right?
Hmm.
So what trying to think. So you've already taken them down there. And so you've kind of led them into this. So trying to think. So we'll do that. We'll do that video and then you can get that sent over to me. What um sorry, my brain's like going blank.
No, fine.
So have you thought, are there anything is there anything that you think that you need to do before Tuesday gets here? Like, how are you feeling about that and being able to use the space on Tuesday?
I think more so, I'm putting a lot of brain power between like how our Tuesdays and Thursdays going to be, and
Mhm.
then how our Monday, Wednesday, Friday is going to be. Trying to think like, you know, once we get them down there, it's kind of like the transition. They're gone for the weekend and they come
Mhm.
back on Monday, and it's kind of like a reprogramming process for the week, just for them to go home on Friday to come back
Right.
on Monday. So it's like if we go down and then they have these rules and then they come back up Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and they're with a different teacher and like these roles, like how are we, is it going to be hard? Because for the most part we are consistent
Mhm.
um in all classes, but at the same time it's different people with different, the way they are. It just
Yeah.
it just is. And my the way I am is not the same as the other Ashley. And now we have Leslie, and it's like, I guess I start thinking about that. I try to think forward, like,
Okay.
how are we going to do? How are we going to transition? How are we going to, it's like, those are the thoughts that I have. I swear, I have like a notebook that's next to my bed. I wake up in the middle of the night. I'm like, oh my
Write
gosh,
it down.
write that down.
Yep.
Write it
Absolutely.
down.
Okay, well let's do this then. Let's plan on doing this portion of it, like as far as just a quick video of how they're interacting in the environment while they're down there.
Mm-hmm.
But if anything comes up this week that you're like, oh, pivot, right? Let me know and we can totally pivot. Or say we work on this week, but Wednesday's a complete bomb, right? Say
Yeah.
that Monday's great because their schedule's normal. Tuesday, they're all excited because they're downstairs. And Wednesday, they're like, what the heck just happened to me? Right? Say Wednesday, they just fall apart. Then the following week would be Thanksgiving. But then let's look at a Wednesday. Okay. So let's work on this first because I know that's something that, as far as having the environment set up, has been something that's been on your heart. And
Yeah.
you've asked about that. And I know Casey mentioned it. She was like, I know she's been thinking about her environment. So let's do this next.
Yeah.
But as this week goes, and if you're like, ah, let me know. Okay. Because Wednesday evening, we could even pop on the phone. Like you could even maybe call me on your way home and be like, hey, I need to talk through this. Right. Um, because that's what I'm here for too. Like we don't always have to be on Zoom. Like if you need to like work through something, you can call me and we can have a conversation on the phone while you're driving home or whatever.
Okay.
So let's plan on this module 7, you kind of videoing 15 to 20 minutes of the kids down there interacting in the environment either Tuesday or Thursday. Shoot that over to me and then we can have a follow-up conversation on that. But then we can be like, okay, how did this week go? And then what might you need to think about to pivot to make it better as you go forward, right?
Yeah.
Um, I know your schedule is crazy busy. Um, and with the holiday coming up, I know that's kind of going to be crazy too. So, do you have time that you want to touch in or maybe get together um, next weekend or trying to look? What's your schedule like?
For the most part, I and last week was just funny. It's like, yep, I'm supposed to, leave and go home about like 4, and here it is like 5:30. I'm like, I'm not even home yet.
Yeah,
Like, I'm still here.
yeah.
It has been just chaotic, but I would say, um, next weekend I'm free. Next
Okay,
weekend should be fine.
okay,
Um, and then I'm actually taking the Wednesday before Thanksgiving off.
okay.
So I mean, I also have Monday, Tuesday that week.
Mhm. Which
So
that week's going to be nuts anyway.
it
Like
is.
kids
It
aren't
is.
going to be there because school's out or like it's just going to be it's going to be a crazy weekend.
Yeah.
Or just a crazy Monday and Tuesday. And I'm out, we're actually traveling to Kansas, so I'm gone the 27th to that following Monday, Wednesday before Thanksgiving through the end of the day Sunday.
Mhm.
So we could touch base. Is Saturday or Sunday better for you?
Sunday.
Okay. Let's see. And I am not sure why that is on there because I don't think that's supposed to be on there. What time works best for you that Sunday?
I would say anywhere between noon and 5.
Okay.
So,
I told the girls that I would take them to lunch next week. So, um, you want to try for 3?
perfect.
Okay. So we'll try for 3. And so, if you will get that video sent to me by Friday, then I
Okay.
can look at it. And as soon as I watch it, I will get you some notes sent over. And then we'll follow up on Sunday and can chat about it. And then I'm super excited to see how this week goes because I know you've been looking forward to it. I'm excited for you.
I'm so
Um,
excited.
and then we'll kind of see how it goes, and then we'll pivot if we need to pivot and be like, okay, let's talk this out and let's see what you might try the week after Thanksgiving when everybody comes back and things are going to be crazy anyway. Let's see if we can chat through it and you can come up with some different ways of things that you might change to make it go smoother because it's going to be crazy anyway.
Yeah.
So we can chat through it and see what you might be able to come up and I might be able to help you come up with to to make that next week even smoother.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of be preventative before the chaos comes back.
Yes.
And
Yes.
everybody's like, "Oh, I've got a runny nose or I've got COVID because I saw family." Right?
I know it.
It
On
is
the
that
plus side, though, this like last week was the full moon week, so I'm like, okay, we're
yeah.
gonna be outside of that, so it's just
You
holiday
see,
crazy.
you survived Halloween, you survived the full moon. If you can get through this week, like you're golden.
We're good. Yeah, that's
So, do
funny.
you have any other questions for me? How are you feeling? Is there anything else I can do for you?
I don't. I really enjoy talking to you. I really do. I'm so glad I got you.
Yes.
But
Well,
I
I'm
don't
glad.
know anything
Okay.
else.
Okay. Well, I'm super excited. Like I can't wait to get a little snippet of your day and we can kind of talk through that. And like I said, I'm excited to hear what you think about your environment after you get the kids down there this week and
Hmm.
what they're going to tell you about, okay, this is enough or not too much or I need more or you know and kind of see how
Hmm.
it goes. I think that's going to give you the most information,
Yeah.
is how they react to the space. So, and you've already kind of talked about it, keep your routines as consistent as possible. You said even though a different person's doing it, you guys try to keep things the same. So I
Yeah.
think that's going to be the best thing for them and we'll see how it goes and we'll go from there.
Hmm.
So, and you've got my cell phone number if you need to text me this week and be like, "Oh, Tuesday was insane or Wednesday was awful." Or even after Tuesday and you're like, "It was amazing and I love it. I'm so excited." If you want to text me, text me, So, if I don't get back to you right away, I will get back to you. So,
Yeah.
so I'm here for that too if you need that. So,
Perfect.
and so I'll wait for your video. Like I said, you should be able to upload it to like YouTube if it won't send me like the whole file. I don't know if it'll send that 15-20 minutes through email. But you should be able to host it on through your Gmail account on YouTube and then send me a link. Um,
Okay.
but if you run into any problems with that, let me know and I can help you navigate that too. And then I'll
Okay.
get that watched and we'll have a chat next Sunday and see how it went. Sound good?
Perfect. Yeah.
Okay, sounds
Perfect.
great. Well, good luck this week. I'm so excited for you.
Thank you so much. And
Okay.
you have a wonderful week.
Yes, and we'll chat on Sunday.
Yes, ma'am.
Have a good
Thank you
day.
so much. You too.
Bye.
Bye.